All right, so I am so excited to be talking about goals today. We're going to talk about why we're missing our goals. We're going to talk a lot about the psyche of a goal, and I'm going to read some of my notes because I am reading this fantastic book. All right, Shelly's coming in. And Yolanda, did we say hey to Yolanda? She has her still shot, so I don't ever see her moving around. All right, so we're going to talk about goals. Here we go. So I'm reading this amazing book called Atomic Habits, and I am nowhere finished with it, but y'all, I have pages and pages of notes, and it's just, I'm having all these aha moments. And you guys know, I think everybody should always be reading something, because this business is about personal growth, spiritual growth, financial growth, and you've always got to be working on you, because I'm just going to tell you, who I was when I came into this business is not who I am now. The person that said yes to that $100 starter kit is not the person that I am now. Okay. That person could never have done what I've done. She did something fantastic. She said yes, something scary to a business that she didn't want to do, but her husband made her do this. And so please hear my heart. Please start reading something. We've always recommended some really great books. You guys know I can't do deep reads. When I give you a book, it's an easy read, it's a simple read, it's an aha read. I've got to keep my attention. I really got ADHD. It's got to be aha moments like every page. And so if you need my list of books that are my faves for the last 21 years, I have them. Like, I have them on my shelf. And if you want to check some out, you can check them out, but you promise to bring them back. But please start working on you, because to reach these big goals that you've set for yourself, when you get that desire in your heart, it's going to change you, and you have to change to become the person that can reach that goal. All right, so the reason that you keep missing your goal, I'm guilty of it too, is it's not just about setting the goal. It's more about the systems that are not in place to reach that goal. Okay, so we're going to dig into that. So the difference between goals are the results of something. Okay, goals are the results, and systems are about the process that leads you to that results. Okay, if you've ever thought about that. So all of the booking attempts, customer service calls, career chats, selling the product, booking that second appointment, those are systems. Okay, it's, working from a focus folder. We're going to talk about that. Getting your facial boxes out, finding the new leads, playing the referral games. Those are all systems. Those are all systems that we have in place that we teach you to get the results of, building to 100 customers, building a sustaining business, earning a free car, becoming a sales director, becoming a national sales director, becoming a pink Cadillac driver. Whatever it is, it starts with those basic systems. You can't get to those goals that I just mentioned without having those basic systems. Master at booking, master at selling, master at coaching, master at sharing, master at what customer service. Those are the things that you've got to master. Okay, so imagine that you're a basketball player and you tell everybody, come to the game, I'm going to score 30 points tonight. And you're sitting there on the bench and you're watching the scoreboard, but you're not even in the game, because you didn't do the work to be in the starting 5 lineup, to even be in the game, to score a point. That's what you're doing, guys, when you keep missing these goals. You are setting goals all day long, and we talk about it. We come back from our big conferences and we're talking about goals. This is what I want, this is what I want. But you go back, you get out of your pink bubble, and you have not changed anything about your bad habits, and you don't have your systems in place to with the consistency that it takes to reach that goal. And so that's what we've got to change. And so goals are not useless. They are good for setting a direction. Okay. So goals set your direction, which path you're going to take, and your systems provide the results. Okay. They go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. Okay. Well, you can have lots of systems and not a goal, and you're just working to make money. Hey, I guess that's fine too. But systems are the horse that is pulling the cart. Okay. I've been watching a lot of Little House on the Prairie. There's a lot of horse and carriages. All right. So don't spend too much time dreaming about your goals. A lot of high I personalities do that. They just think about the goal, think about the goal, think about the goal, and they never change their systems. Okay. It's not enough. Hold on, let me read my notes here. Don't spend too much time dreaming about your goals and not enough time designing your systems. Okay. I'm just going to tell you, this business can be discouraging because we deal with people. Okay. People will disappoint you. If you know that, you accept that, you move on. Remember this, no means next. Okay. One person is not going to define who you are, how far you go, and it's not going to make or break your business. Okay. If it's your only booking, it is devastating. And so you don't want to get to that point where you only have one thing on your date book. Okay. Because we call that snow blindness. And that one cancellation is disappointing. And so you don't ever give anybody that kind of power. You've got to have that systems in place to where you're always adding more, adding more. You hold one, you book two, hold one, book two. Okay. Now, if people are going to disappoint you, and the goal disappoints you when you miss the goal, when you fall in love with the process, that's part of the system and the process. We always say in Mary Kay, trust the process. Write that down. You got to have that everywhere. Trust the process, because when you fall in love with the process, then you're not going to be disappointed. All right. I am a testimony to that, because hold on, there's more people coming in. All right. So because your systems can, hold on, let me read my notes. If you fall in love with the process rather than the goal, you will not be disappointed, because your systems can be successful in many different forms, not just the one you first envisioned. All right, so let's say that again. If you fall in love with the process and not just the goal, then the ultimate, you might reach the ultimate goal, but through a different path. Okay. My ultimate goal, so I'm going to tell you, my ultimate goal in the very beginning was to be a national sales director. I found myself very angry for many years because I couldn't control people. My goal, I was sales director, Pink Cadillac, Offspring, you name it, but I couldn't get what I thought was the golden ring of national sales director. I still don't have it, but something changed. And here's what changed. I found myself angry. I wasn't enjoying the business. And I went to a retirement finale for national sales director, Linda Tupin. And she brought all of her friends up on stage that were over the age to be nationals, because there's a cutoff. And she brought all of them up on stage. She had them, before they came to this event, this retreat, she had them call the company and get their earnings after they hit 65. Because once you hit 65, you can no longer be a national sales director, because you have to retire at 65. And so there's a cutoff. Actually, at 64, you can serve as an active national for 1 year, and then you retire. So from the time they were 65, and you had 80, 85-year-old women up there, they started reading off their earnings after they were 65. There was not a single woman up there that had earned less than 2 million. 2 million. That was a game changer for me, because ultimately what I realized was that I wanted the security for my family to be a national and get the retirement of the 15 years. You get 60% of your income for the next 15. If you die, your husband gets it. If he dies, your kids get it. What I realized by going to that event was I could still get that same results and stay on a path where I was happy, and I was in control, because I'm a control freak, and I don't, if I'm not in control, I'm not happy. It's a micromanager thing. I get it. It's me. And so I realized that I love the process. I love book, coach, sell, recruit. I love everything about that. I fell in love with the process, but I wasn't reaching my goal. But when I realized that I could stay on the path that I'm on, that I love, and still get the same end result, because I have lived a conservative life. My home is almost paid off. We have no debt. And if something ever happened to me, we have a lot of life insurance. It'd be the same as my national security plan. And so through Mary Kay, I have lived the life and have the habits that I thought I was working toward. And now I feel like I became a better leader since going to that event. I'm still working. I'm not quitting that goal, but I'm enjoying the journey. Okay. And so I want you to think about what your goal is and why you want it, and create the process and the systems to get there. And if it takes a different path, it might look a little different, but the end results will be the same. Okay. And so now I've got to catch up to where I am on my notes. All right. So the purpose of setting goals is to win the game. Okay. The purpose of building good systems is to continue playing the game. That describes my story. I figured out a way to keep playing the game the way on my terms, and winning on my terms, and being happy. So many people, guys, keep kicking the can down the road and say, I'll be happy when I'm a pink Cadillac sales director. I'll be happy when I have this many offspring, or I'll be happy when I earn a Mary Kay card. Start enjoying the journey now. When you fall in love with the process, you're going to be a happier person. And when you enjoy it, I promise you, people will come along to want to be around you and be in your space. The ball game changes. I promise you, it's a game changer. So I love playing the game, and I enjoy it more. I love, like I said, I love booking. I love coaching the classes. I love coaching my consultants, teaching my consultants. I love selling. I love leading. Everything falls into place, and I enjoy my business. I'm not the angry, miss my goal person anymore. I don't go to my events going, oh, woe is me, I'm a loser. No, I'm a winner. I'll get to do something I love. I get to create my own schedule. Oh, everybody should want to do this. Why doesn't everybody want to do this? And that's how you should be thinking. So I'm not, enjoy the process, you allow yourself to be happy now. And that's what I want. I want you all to be happy now. All right. So now here's a quote. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Okay. What bad habits do you need to change to put the right systems in place? Improvements are only temporary until they become part of who you are. So the journey does change you. Like I was talking about, have a motivational book, a self-improvement book, some type of book that's going to help change you to become that person that you need to be to create those good habits and to create and reach those goals. Okay. And so all those small improvements, they're changing you. And the good habits are going to offset the bad habits. All right. Um, True behavior change is identity change. Like I said, you're going to change. We used to say, I remember being in a class one time and they said 10 times a day, imagine yourself that you've reached your goal. Be the person or be the goal. Be the person that achieved the goal already. And so 10 times a day, I would be driving down the road. I'm like, oh, I'm a national sales director. And so you act like you want to become. How does a national sales director drive down the road? Well, let me just tell you, she's sitting up a little bit taller, she's smiling, she's singing louder on the radio. So 10 times a day, I want you to envision that you've reached your goal. And I promise you, because this played out with my me becoming a sales director, when I was going through qualifications, every morning I would get up, I would listen to my power song. Everybody needs a power song. I would listen to my power song and I would sit in the kitchen floor. I don't know why I was in the kitchen floor. My boys were sleeping. And I would sit in the kitchen floor and I would visualize finishing. And what, at that moment that I finished, how did it play out? And I know many of you have heard this a million times, but it's worth repeating over and over. Y'all, it played out just like my vision my qualifications were for 3 months. Okay. And my vision that I envisioned every single morning while listening to my power song was me walking into my unit meeting. And when you're in your red jacket and you're in DIQ, you wear a black shirt just like this with your red jacket. And the minute you finish your qualifications and you become a sales director, you order your director's suit. But before it gets there, you wear all black. And my vision that got me through my DIQ was I walked into my unit meeting in all black, and all my sister consultants and friends came running up to me and they're like, this was before Facebook. Well, I'm not even on Facebook, but they wouldn't have known. They came running up and said, did you finish? And I said, it is done. You guys, I get cold chills talking about it. That's exactly how it played out. That's exactly how it played out. And even when I envisioned before I ever had my girls, I envisioned becoming a national sales director. You guys know they play your video, you come out on stage with your family. I kept seeing myself on stage, and there were my three boys, but there were 2 girls. And in this vision, I would tell myself, where are these girls coming from? Because for those of you who don't know, we were done. We were done with 3 boys. And when we decided to adopt, we accidentally got pregnant and we didn't know we were going to have a girl. My vision played out. God gave me that vision. So these visions are not something that you're creating. They're from God. And if God gave it to you, He is going to give you the ability to achieve them. Okay. And so you just have to keep seeing that vision and playing it, because your brain goes to work to make it happen. Your brain starts to create the systems that it takes to make these goals happen. Okay. The results happen. And so the more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce the identity. Okay. I became a top sales director. I became a confident leader in whatever position and title I have. And so the process of building a habit is actually the process of becoming you. Okay. Back when I was a new sales director, I was terrible with money. I wanted to be good at money. And so I don't know if a lot of you know this, I went 1 whole year without shopping for shoes, home decor, anything. The only thing I shopped for, now I'm not talking about my products, I ran my business, okay? But for me personally, I didn't shop for shoes. I didn't shop for clothes, home decor, nothing for 1 whole year. I had to buy a new pair of black pants for business, okay, when I dressed up when I went out. make deliveries, and I had to buy a pair of black pumps because I wore my black pumps out, but that was work related. And so what it taught me is where shopping was my, um, if I felt down or I missed a goal or somebody disappointed me, I would go and shopping made me feel good. What going without taught me was it was a scripture that God showed me, when you taste the living waters, you'll never thirst again. And so I depended on God to bring me my happiness through different things versus shopping. And so um, I became good with money. And so that was a habit. And I am known, you can ask any director that knows me, Michelle's frugal and she knows how to run her money, right, Marianne and Tammy? Like Cheryl says that all the time. But it was 2006, I went a whole year without shopping. And so when you taste the living waters, you'll never thirst again. Um, and then I have this story, and I don't know why I'm supposed to tell this story, but I'm going to tell this story, and then we're going to talk about some systems, okay? Um, in 20 years ago, Andy and I were working on getting our finances straight, and we were going to become debt free, and that was our goal. And we used to do this thing at my church, and it was called Christmas Treasures. And all the ladies would, at Christmas, they would host a table, and they would bring all their Christmas china, and they would decorate, and they would have somebody cater, and we would have a speaker come in, and you would invite people to sit at your table. And it was just beautiful. Like everybody had all these beautiful tables, this china. I came from a poor family. Like when I did my wedding registry, I got 2 place settings. People in my family, they don't know what that is. I mean, and I felt all those years of being at my church, I kept really wanting to participate so I could invite some of my friends that were lost. And so Andy was on third shift, and I had been on eBay, and I had found some Christmas china. It was 14 place settings for $80 for a Christmas china. That was really good. And so he left for work, and I said, hey, I really want to do Christmas Treasures. This was the last week of October. And I said, I really want to do Christmas Treasures this year. I said, and I found some used Christmas china on eBay for $80. And he said, well, if God wants you, oh, he said, I thought you wanted to be debt free. And I said, okay. So, and he left for work. Well, he gets convicted on the way to Delta, and he calls me and he said, if God is really working on your heart about this china, he will send you the money. And I said, oh, okay. I said, I know he is. I know he's going to send me the money. Okay. This was October 30th. Y'all, I can't even explain the next day. I was giddy with excitement. I knew the money was going to come, and I knew it was going to come that day. I can't tell you how I knew. Like I still get teary thinking about the excitement. I remember that Ryan and Riley were 3 and 4, or no, they were 3 and 5, and they had half days. It was a half day that day. I went and got them, and I could not wait to get home because I knew the mail was going to run, and I knew it was going to be in the mail. And I got home. I didn't even pull in my driveway. I stopped at the end. I jumped out, grabbed the mail, and I went through it right there before driving in. I had 2 checks. One was from State Farm for $256. We had overpaid, and they were sending us money back. And the second was when we bought our house, there was an old hot tub. We didn't need a hot tub. We had little kids that scared me. I sold it to my friend a year back, and she had never paid me. And she paid me $500, and she promised me she was going to give me the other $500. It was over a year. there was a check in my mailbox for $500. I had a total of $756, tenfold, almost tenfold. And so when God puts something on your heart, he will make a way for you to achieve it. And y'all, I invited people that I knew were lost, and some my friend Paige got saved at my Christmas treasures dinner. And so it was all worth that. And so I know that's about money, but it's about when God puts a goal on your heart, you have to be obedient so that you can see him play out, because it is so humbling, and you will never, ever doubt how much he loves you, because when he puts you in something, he doesn't put you in it to fail, but to succeed, because he doesn't get any glory out of you failing, but he gets all the glory out of your success. All right, now let's talk Mary Kay. All right, so Mary Ann, do you want to share some systems? I know we're gonna, it's the basic booking each week and stuff like that. I know that you can do that, so go ahead.
I have like 5 pages of notes right now just from you talking. So yeah. Okay, Michelle, we are at 9:30. I am happy to keep going, and you guys can stay or whatever. We can just keep the recording going. And so I loved, Michelle, that you were talking about that quote. I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's originally from the Navy SEALs that, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. Well, when you were going through DIQ and working to be a director, your habit was to visualize. And so that action was more likely to be played out because it was a habit. And so I absolutely love that testimony and everything. Okay, so booking. I've gone through seasons where booking was really easy and I felt super motivated. I had a big why. I basically had cut my safety net. And so that was great motivation to get booking, is because I had not re-signed my teaching contract and I was working to be a director, and I knew there was no way I wasn't going to go back and ask for my job back if this didn't work out, and I had to pay, feed my family. And so sometimes, you might need to check and see, what is your motivator, what's your why, and where do you need to step out on obedience and faith to take yourself to the next level, because no one is going to motivate you. If you've been waiting on that, just stop. It's not happening. This is the growth area, and I speak for myself on that too. So in the seasons where it's been hard for me to booking, I've always been a big dreamer, a big believer. That's one of my gifts. And so what I have to work on is creating it into small pieces. And so sometimes I have to swallow my pride and make a goal that is so painstakingly easy, but I have to get it done. And so sometimes I've had on my calendar tracker, love this thing. A lot of calendars are doing this nowadays because everybody's reading the same information. Okay, this is this next coming week where I just fill in my top habits and it tells me, what I can keep track of that. And so sometimes it's like, make 3 booking contacts in a day. And like, y'all, we can do that. Okay. There's no excuses. There's no reason for not doing that. And so picking your goal for that day and focusing on one thing at a time. You can't do your spiritual goal, your working out goal, your Mary Kay goal, your marriage goal, and like work on all these new things at one time. You will set yourself up for failure. It's focusing on one thing. And so pick what is the most important one to you right now, and make it so that you can consistently do it every day. Have that tracking sheet, and then also tell somebody. You've got to have your accountability partner, someone who's going to check on you and say, hey, did you reach your goal today? And if you say, no, I didn't, then they say, well, go figure out how to get it done. Not like, oh, that's fine. That's not an accountability partner. That's an enabler. So that is one of the things. So I like to keep my booking journal with me, my list of names. I have a business bag. And so especially when I'm running around with the kids and I've got these awkward gaps of time where I can't come home to work in my office, my car is my office. And I just always take that bag with me. So I'm always prepared for taken advantage of those small opportunities of time. So especially if you wear a lot of hats and you can't just block out, an hour to do booking every day, not everybody's schedule allows that. And so you got to figure out what works for you. So I'll pause on that one. Michelle, do you have any comments, questions on that one?
Mm-mm.
I didn't want to get too overwhelming for systems and things like that. And then for your customers, I mean, the best thing I've fallen in love with is tracking. It truly, I didn't understand when people were like, a track number grows. And I was like, that's a great thing. I have no idea what you're talking about because it wasn't tracking. If you're not doing something, of course you don't understand it. And so then one time I printed out a picture of the United States and I was like, man, we don't have any territories. I'm not really taking advantage of the fact that I know people all over the country, or I can network through people. And so I, started putting a little dot on all the different states that I have customers in. And so then I'm intentional. All right, I don't have these states. Let's put out a social media post. Hey, I'm trying to pamper people all over the United States. Who do you know that are in these states? Or as I'm working in person with people, same thing. Hey, I'm working to grow my business all over the 50 states and I have these. Who do you know that are in these? Do you know anybody in these other states? And if they give you someone that's already in one of those states, you can still pamper them. Don't tell them no. We don't turn anybody away. Okay. Just want to make that clear. Okay. And that's how and same thing with your team. Hey, I have team members in 3 different states. I'm working to grow to 5 different states by the end of this month. Make it real small. And at the end of the month, give it a timeline. So that way people want to help you win. Okay. But they have to know that their contribution is going to matter. And if you just say like, I need new people in all 50 states this week, they're like, that's overwhelming, to you and them. So let's just, little small baby steps each month, cutting it down. And then even your commission check, or your team commission check, your personal sales, with your weekly accomplishment sheet, tracking those things. It's going to help you make money and know I did great this month. I know why. Or I didn't do great this month and I know why, because I can look at my activity. So those are a couple of things on those. Michelle, you mentioned a lot of great systems. I made a note, Michelle, of list of systems to master. I feel like we need to refresh that list now that we've got, virtual and in-person and hybrids. That way we can condense it for you guys and say, this is what you need to master. So
And
that's what I got for right now, Michelle.
I know you're so awesome, Marianne. Before we hang up, and I know it's running late, but make sure that you're always working from a hot list of people that you're calling. Tammy is really great at the facial boxes. You guys, all her bookings came from the facial boxes. And if you don't have 5 to 10 out, and you don't have anybody on your hot list, you've got to figure out a way to get leads, a vendor activity, a vendor event, facial boxes, QR codes, stands, or whatever. You've got to get that, you've got to put in the field work. It's not going, you can't just set the goal and wait for the scoreboard to change, right? You have to be on purpose for it, and you've got to figure it out. So if you've got a hang up and you can't get bookings, you don't know who to book, talk to one of us and we'll help you figure out your path. Okay. My path was not warm chatter. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. My path was facial boxes and vendor events. That was my path. Marianne's really great at warm chatter. And so you've got to figure out your path and to get, and once you get going, you may not even have to worry about doing that, because you might be so amazing at booking from the bookings, which is Trinity. She's amazing at that. And so is Jennifer, that that you don't need to do all this other extra stuff. So there's lots of ways to get to the top of the mountain. You get to choose your path. Okay. All right. So thank you guys for being on tonight. I hope this was helpful. And sorry we went over. And did I say warm chatter? Yes, Marianne.
If you want, you can pause the recording and then we can answer some of those
good
questions before. But we can talk about warm chatter